House of Representatives stepped down motion for suspension of cybersecurity levy as TUC threatens nationwide shutdown. 3 weeks without power supply, Gombe State residents cry out for help. Surging rent prices pushing Nigerians to the brink as housing crisis continues. On the foreign scene, AstraZeneca announces withdrawal of COVID-19 vaccine after a report of rare side effects. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. The House of Representatives has stepped down a motion calling for the suspension of the cybersecurity levy, which has elicited negative reactions from Nigerians. Representative Manu Soro, who moved a motion on the floor of the House of Representatives Wednesday, had explained that the levy is coming at the wrong time considering the current living conditions of Nigerians. The lawmaker had argued that the National Security Advisor is a political office and has no mandate to manage accruals. However, the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas urged the lawmaker to step down the motion to allow the leadership of the House of Representatives to deliberate on how best to address the situation. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) had described the planned cybersecurity levy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria on all electronic transactions as another burden on Nigerians. According to a circular issued to various financial institutions, including commercial, merchant, non-interest and payment service banks, the Apex Bank indicated that the levy will come into effect in 2 weeks' time from the 20th of May 2024. Similarly, the Trade Union Congress (TUC) has threatened a massive protest that will shut down the Nigerian economy should the federal government fail to cancel the controversial cybersecurity levy recently introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The TUC, in a statement signed by its president, Festus Osifo, on Wednesday, slammed the directive by the CBN to banks imposing a 0.5% cybersecurity levy on almost all electronic transactions. The union said it is disturbed that since the inception of President Bola Tinubu-led administration, government policies have brought pain, anguish, and sorrow to Nigerians. In another development, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has described the planned cybersecurity levy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) on all electronic transactions as another burden on Nigerians. According to a circular issued to various financial institutions, including commercial, merchant, non-interest and payment service banks, the Apex Bank indicated that the levy will come to effect in 2 weeks' time from the 20th of May 2024. The levy's introduction has sparked widespread criticism among Nigerians and civil society organizations. Rejecting the policy, the NLC President Joe Ajero said such deductions directly affect the disposable income of workers and further diminish the purchasing power of the common citizens. He said the directive is another gang up by the ruling elite to continue its extortion and exploitation of helpless workers and the masses. Nearly 3 weeks after the vandalization of the electricity tower in Gombe-Bauchi axis, which interrupted power supply in the state, residents of the affected areas say the development has negatively impacted their daily lives and prevented most small businesses from rendering services. Grinding machine operators, popularly known as Masunika, who are among the affected businesses, say they are now falling into the unemployment group as power outages bite higher. Hassan Koli has the report.
Gombe is known for its vibrant economic activities, including the grinding business, which plays a crucial role in the local economy by providing essential services for the households and other businesses. However, the persistent issue of erratic power supply has significantly impacted the sector, affecting their operations and profitability, as these businesses heavily rely on electricity to power their grinding machines, which are essential for processing grains. 29-year-old Usman has been in the grinding business for many years. For him, this is the only means of sustaining his family. This development has affected our business and daily activities too, because we have not been able to work for the past 2 weeks. We have a lot of grains on queue waiting for electricity. At times, we only have access to power supply for some minutes or an hour throughout the day. But on the average, we only get a maximum supply of 2 hours daily. The government should take action on this because we are facing difficulties sustaining our lives. This inconsistency not only affects the efficiency of businesses, but also frustrates customers who rely on timely services, making Usman and his colleague unemployed and thinking of alternative means of livelihood. Power outages are indeed setbacks to our business. As it is now, we cannot afford water to drink, nor take responsibility for our family at home. In fact, this power outage is making us unemployed and a liability. We really need government intervention for the speedy repair of the vandalized power tower in order to restore power supply in Gombe. The lack of power supply has resulted in financial losses for grinding businesses, which oftentimes resort to alternative power sources such as generators, which are expensive to fuel and maintain. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, is advocating the unbundling of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to enhance its effectiveness and efficiency. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja aimed at acknowledging the unsung heroes of the 2023 elections, Obi also criticized President Bola Tinubu's performance as his administration approaches its one-year mark. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman has the report.
Represented by his spokesperson Yunus Atanko, the Labour Party presidential candidate says the current mandate of the election management body is overwhelming and will not allow it focus on the desire to have credible polls in the country.
And this is in line with Justice Mohammed Uwais' report. If we can get INEC, reduce the burden of INEC in terms of litigation, delineation, it will help greatly to give possibly good, credible election. INEC has the problem of conducting elections, dealing with the issue of election litigation, dealing with the issue of delineation. These are 2-3 heavy work for INEC to do.
Peter Obi, commenting on President Tinubu's administration 1 year into office, noted that while the government may have positive governance ideas, implementing them effectively necessitates credible individuals to lead the process forward.
Talk about the issue of Better Edu, where money was supposed to be given to the Nigerian people as a palliative measure. Those money did not get to the hands of the Nigerian people. And then the issue of how government communicates with the Nigerian people, telling them truth rather than propaganda, became an issue. The last of it all is the issue of this current issue of coastal road from Calabar to Abuja, to Lagos, where it will cost almost 3 trillion naira. And it is our belief that such money could have been used in building roads in the rural area and connecting with the people on the rural area. That will have helped to reduce the issue of security, the issue of getting goods from the local government to the town.
The Obidati movement is collaborating with other organizations to recognize and reward Nigerians who demonstrated commitment to democracy and credible elections in 2023. This initiative aims to encourage citizens' resilience in promoting good governance across the country. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Rivers State House of Assembly has once more vetoed Governor Siminalayi Fubara's bill by consolidating the Rivers State Local Government Amendment Law, number 5 of 2015, 2023, and number 4 of 2024. After the consolidation, the state lawmakers passed it into a unified law. They said this is to correct all discrepancies in the individual amendments, some of which include appointment into the board of the local government chairman and the payment of political office holders at the local government level. Speaking during plenary, the Speaker, Martin Amehule, urged the members to focus on the task ahead and provide quality representation for their various constituencies. This is coming barely 24 hours after the APC caretaker chairman in the state called for a resumption of impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara by the Assembly. Meanwhile, Victor Jumbo has emerged as the factional speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Two members of the Assembly elected Jumbo as the speaker.
Another legislative day, we will brief the press. We'll communicate our proceedings to the public and engage them. We'll make sure that they are part of what we are doing to ensure that there is transparency and clarity in the 10th Legislative Assembly. Well, I have already directed the clerk to notify His Excellency the Governor that a new leadership has emerged in the Rivers State House of Assembly and that we are ready to work for Rivers people.
Still in Rivers State, the Rivers State chapter of the Association of Local Government Areas of Nigeria has accused Governor Siminalayi Fubara of withholding funds meant for the 23 local government areas in the state. The state allegor said the action has denied them of their functions in the administration of the third tier of government. The local government chairman said the action of the governor is tantamount to prescribing local government councils in the state, even as they backed the call by the caretaker committee chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Tony Okocha, for the State House of Assembly to commence impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara. The state algon chairman, Allwell Ehunda, who stated this at a news briefing in Port Harcourt on Wednesday, accused the governor of deliberately refusing to hold the statutory Joint Account Allocation Committee meetings, which is the prerequisite for the release and disbursement of funds to the local government areas in the state joint local government accounts. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has asked the All Progressive to perish any thought of impeaching Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The statement issued by the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Debo Ologun-Nagba, on Wednesday is in response to the directive of the APC chairman in Rivers State, Tony Okocha, to the members of the State House of Assembly to commence impeachment proceedings against Fubara. Okocha has threatened that if the Assembly members fail to restart the impeachment proceedings against the governor, he will invoke party discipline upon them. However, Ologun Nagba said that such statement by Okocha exposed the vile desperation of the APC to forcefully take over the oil-rich South-South state. The PDP claims that the lawmakers being directed by the APC chairman are not legally members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and cannot contemplate or exercise such powers under the law. The party described the call for the governor's impeachment as a brazen call for anarchy, as it amounts to an attempt to forcefully overthrow a democratic order. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is set to arraign the immediate past Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Senator Hadi Sirika, his daughter Fatima, and two suspects in court over alleged corruption on Thursday, May 9, 2024. The quartet are facing charges over alleged 2.7 billion naira contract fraud uncovered in the aviation ministry under Senator Sirika. The embattled former minister, who will be arraigned for trial for the first time before Justice Silvanus Origi of the Federal High Court in Abuja. Sirika is billed to appear in court with three co-accused persons. They include his daughter Fatima, Al-Durak Investment Limited, on charges of abusing their positions to launder over 2.7 billion naira. Governor Sharif Oboriwori of Delta State on Wednesday announced the complete withdrawal of the military from the Okwama community in the state. With the announcement, which came during a press conference at the government house in Asaba, displaced people of Okwama are now free to return to their homes. The governor also disclosed that the internally displaced persons camp set up by his administration for a smooth and seamless resettlement of the displaced Okwama residents is already running. The military had taken over the community after 17 Army personnel were gruesomely killed on the 14th of March 2024 in the riverine community in Ugali South local government area of the state, causing many residents to flee into the creeks and other neighboring communities. With this announcement, the governor said it is expected that the people will begin to return home to rebuild what is left of their community. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, surging rent prices pushing Nigerians to the brink as housing crisis continues. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. House of Representatives stepped down motion for suspension of cybersecurity levy. Nationwide shutdown. And 3 weeks without power supply in Gombe State. Residents cry out for help. Moving on, residents of the Federal Capital Territory have been reacting to the surge in rents across the Federal Capital Territory and its implication on the cost of living. Investigations by Trust TV reveals that beyond the FCT, cities like Kano and Lagos have also witnessed a 50% increase in the house and shop rents, leaving many seeking alternatives in less expensive neighborhoods. Neil Sampson has the report.
According to statistics, Nigeria has the world's greatest number of homeless people. Data from the World Population Review also reported that within the nation, 28 million people don't have homes. As the most populous country in Africa, stakeholders say this presents an epidemic of homelessness throughout the nation. The high demand for accommodation has sent the prices of rental properties to rooftop, as many clamor to put a roof over their heads, especially in the FCT.
I want to change environment now. And then the change of environment now, where how much I'm paying, at least I'm paying 150. Then now changing to a new environment now, they are telling me I must get like 300,000, and then it's just so frustrating.
We're like paying house rent of 60,000 before, self-contained, even local area where we are staying, like a place like Papi. But now we are paying 100,000, 120,000. So you can see it's going higher. It's going up to 50%. 100% increase.
Many landlords and landowners, shall understand, they are taking up the responsibilities, shall understand, to put burdens on the poor masses who cannot actually afford the payments of house rent.
Valentine Okwa, an Abuja-based real estate expert, gives reasons for the increase in the cost of accommodation in Abuja and how the situation can be addressed.
When the prices of cement, those building materials, the prices of cement, rod, laterite, granite, and the rest of them, when those prices are on the increase, of course you are going to see increase in the rental value. People are moving into the cities looking for greener pastures. They are coming into the city to look for greener pastures. It will definitely lead to an increase in the rental value, because when there is a high demand for a product, it will definitely lead to the increase in the value of that product. If they have provided a mass housing project, for instance, if the government come to the Ministry of Agriculture and decide to provide two-bedroom flats for all the whole staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, they will have the right to decide on how they make use of that property, because they are the one that provided it. Are you getting me? But in a situation whereby the government did not invest or did not subsidize or did not contribute to the construction of a property, they don't have the right to decide on what happens to that property.
For residents, policies like affordable housing for all has become imperative now in order to address the huge housing deficit in the country, as most apartments are gradually becoming out of reach for the average Nigerian in the FCT. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Nigeria's Cooperative Affairs Commission, CAC, has commenced registration of point-of-sale operators, also known as POS agents, following the directive from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Speaking on the development at the Office of the Corporate Affairs Commission in Abuja, CAC Registrar General Hussaini Ishaq said the initiative is to effectively regulate the subsector by mitigating illicit activities and guaranteeing service delivery. The Registrar General said the Commission is providing a 24-hour service to ensure prompt and speedy registration of financial services and service providers, urging them to ensure they meet the July 7th deadline.
In making things seamless to the customers, what we did, we accommodated the request from the fintechs individually now. We have given them opportunity to have integration with the Corporate Affairs Commission. They have developed their own structure. We gave them API. They have access from their platform. Once they click, they can do some certain registration. Once they supply the necessary information for registration, generally the certificate will be generated and transmitted to their own platform directly without coming to anyone or to do so. For those, this is part of what we did to ensure that everyone got it easily without any hitches. And in the event they choose to make it, to have it in a manual application that they used to do it now. That's how we have Secretariat, which is open, or if you can do it, whatever. But we have applications called VAS. The VAS application is to accommodate that kind of bulk registration that can come. If you are a fintech, you have 1 million applications. If you can send it at once to the CAC, we have the platform that can accommodate such kind of applications, and that we have a facility to respond to your application. But if you decide to come manually, so be it, we are ready to take it.
The Park and Pay policy has been reinstated in the Federal Capital Territory, with enforcement already underway. Cars parked on walkways in the Jabi and Utako areas were immobilized by the organization tasked with enforcement as authorized by the FCT Transportation Secretariat. The organization responsible for implementing the Park and Pay policy provided evidence of letters sent to various organizations to inform them of the policy. Despite this, residents remain dissatisfied, citing inadequate sensitization efforts.
I parked my car on the front of organization, which there is no written there that there is no parking. I parked very well, other people's park there. And when I came out, I met that they have blocked my car and asking me to pay source of money. Which of that, for what reasons? There is no any notification there. That is what I'm asking them. If you want to do such job, you have to notify everybody, places at the board, that please, there is no parking here. If you parked here, you are going to be penalized. There's penalty for it. Then, if I saw it, even when I'm not learned, if I saw it, I'd park, and other people can read it for me. Say, "Okay, no park there." It's simple, but I just park. You organize people with uniform and started harassing people. This is harassment, and this is 419, I think.
A bill aimed at providing documentation and protection for domestic workers and employees has passed the second reading in the upper chamber of the National Assembly. Trust TV's Senate correspondent Sagir Ibrahim has the story.
Senator Hussaini Uba, the sponsor of the bill, expressed concern over the lack of codified legislation in Nigeria to safeguard the rights of domestic workers, addressing the dire working conditions and human rights violations they endure. During the debate on the bill's general principles, Senator Uba highlighted that a significant number of domestic workers in the country operate without registration and often outside the boundaries of labor laws.
This bill will also reduce and deter the propensity of domestic workers' connivance with criminal elements against their employers by maintaining full biometric data and other relevant background information of domestic workers nationwide. This bill does not only seek to protect domestic workers, it will also protect the employers of domestic workers.
Other lawmakers backing the bill emphasized the need for imposing sanctions and appropriate penalties to safeguard domestic workers from exploitation and abuse.
I think time has come actually for this country to put in place specific laws to safeguard whoever is engaged. We must have specific terms of engagement so that cases of infraction can be actually dealt with in a manner that all parties involved can have justice.
I think there will be need for us to look at it based on this bill and regulate it, impose necessary fines, impose necessary punishment for any abuse.
Sometimes some people pay starvation wages. Slavery has been outlawed in Nigeria. When you pay a wage that doesn't meet the minimum need of a person, and because of economic circumstances he has no choice, it tantamount to slavery.
I want to suggest that this can be a directorate, this can be a department in the Ministry of Labour and Productivity, rather than having a commission, a whole commission to take care of this issue.
In his ruling, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, referred the bill to the Senate Committee on Labour and Productivity, granting a 4-week period to report back to plenary for additional legislative input.
Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
If passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the President, the bill will tackle instances of assault and abuse of domestic workers in Nigeria, simultaneously safeguarding the rights of their employers. However, concerns arise regarding the feasibility of expanding government bureaucracy to accommodate another agency, given Nigeria's current economic challenges.
The House of Representatives on Wednesday resolved to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate the circumstances leading to the untimely death of a 4-year-old recalled school pupil, Miguel Ovoke. This followed a motion of urgent national importance moved by Representative Kelechi Nwogu. Let's take this and other stories from the Green Chamber.
The tragic tale of 4-year-old Miguel Ovoke, who was reportedly killed under mysterious circumstances, has been awash in the media since it occurred. The public outcry over the incident has prompted the lower chamber of parliament to dig into the actual circumstances surrounding the incident.
Concerned about the traumatic effect of the sudden death of this little boy, Miguel Ovoke, on the family and that of the classmates. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are further concerned about the negative image this act will leave on our country in the sympathy of nations if such is not addressed. Mr. Speaker, we pray as follows. Constitute a special ad hoc committee to investigate the circumstances leading to this untimely death of this young little boy and report back within 4 weeks.
The House has set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the matter and report back to the House for further legislative action. In a related development, the House moved in favor of a motion on the importance to have security presence in schools across the nation.
Over 180 school children were killed and nearly 90 injured in 70 attacks between April 2014 and December 2022. Mr. Speaker, with an estimated 60 school staff kidnapped and 14 killed. 25 school buildings were reportedly destroyed during that period. The majority of these attacks took place in northwest Nigeria, where we had about 49 attacks, followed by north-central Nigeria, where we had about 11 attacks. Mr. Speaker, the House is concerned that in Nigeria, the number of out-of-school children, as per the report from the UNICEF, was put at 10.5 million, Mr. Speaker.
Also, during plenary, the House supported a proposal to look into the security breach that allowed a Binance executive to escape from jail.
Further worried that the escape of the Binance executive from the office of the National Security Advisor using a small good passport is, to say the least, most disappointing, embarrassing, and disturbing as it portrays the porosity of the security architecture of the country to the world.
Meanwhile, a motion into the urgent need for the restoration of the Northeast sub-region to the national grid and upgrade of transmission conductors in the region was adopted.
Whereas the current state of transmission conductors in the Northeast sub-region is inadequate and outdated, leading to transmission losses and inefficiencies in the supply of electricity to the region. Whereas the lack of reliable electricity supply hinders economic development, industrial growth, and social well-being in the Northeast sub-region, impacting the lives of millions of residents.
The House adjourned plenary till Thursday for further legislative action.
The Nigerian government has over the years invested billions of naira in a number of national programs and policies aimed at assisting farmers. Nevertheless, farmers in the rural communities are claimed that because of their low literacy levels, it is impossible for them to receive any support because the distribution of the aforementioned agricultural assistance is done digitally. To this end, some farmers in Kirifi local government area of Bauchi State are pleading with the government to devise a different means of helping them sustain their way of life, particularly in the light of the nation's recent economic difficulties. Hassan Koli has the report.
Over the years, the federal government has initiated several agricultural programs to improve food supply in the country, as well as to create more job opportunities across the country. The President Muhammadu Buhari's administration spent millions of naira to help farmers through the Anchor Borrowers program. The aforementioned initiative, which saw the government investing a substantial sum of money, has eluded thousands of farmers, particularly those living in isolated communities or with little or no formal education, as the application process has remained online. This is very simple to handle if the government really wants to help farmers, the grassroots. They never forgot a single village during their election campaigns. Therefore, it is obvious that government has multiple ways of reach farmers in remote villages. I think it is just the lack of political will. If not, how can you say we must possess BVN or account number before we get agricultural support? We are typical villagers and government has to look for an alternative to support us. The recent hike in petrol price, fertilizer and seed also triggered calls on the government to quickly address the issue. My priority now is fertilizer and petrol because we are not financially buoyant to afford them. Recently, I had to sell a bag of maize to buy a bag of fertilizer at the rate of 40,000 naira, which was 4,000 naira the previous year. This is terrible and really discouraging a lot of farmers. If the government provides us with subsidized fertilizer, we will provide much more food for the nation.
Ko a sati ko a kwana hudu nakan yi amfani kaman da galan 5 ko 6 a cikin ta.
They urge government to review the process of helping farmers to ensure that agricultural support programs target the real farmer.
Mu dai na mun jima muna ta fafatawa akan aikin.
We have been in irrigation farming for decades, but to be sincere, we were on several occasions asked to submit our details to the government, and we never received a single seed or fertilizer in the name of agricultural support. We are really in need of government support to sustain our source of livelihood. The Nigerian government had in December 2023 allocated the sum of 1.2 billion of the 2024 proposed budget for the purchase of office buildings for the newly created National Agricultural Fund, which was condemned by groups as mispriority. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has assured that his government will ensure quality education that will ensure the transformation of the sector across the state. The governor stated this at the first phase flagged off of the training of 1,949 teachers in Wakabiu College of Education in Biu local government area. Governor Zulum revealed that the teachers training program will capture 2,730 teachers, while 846 will be enrolled in NCE programs. It will be recalled that a competency test conducted revealed that out of more than 15,000, only 5,257 passed, while more than 6,000 teachers failed. Governor Zulum said he will ensure the revitalization of the education sector and prioritize its 25 years development plan.
It may surprise you to know that during the last exercise, about 4,339 so-called teachers were found to be untrainable at all. Some are having NCs, and they cannot even write NCE. If I will not allow my child to be trained by somebody who is not qualified to teach, to train, then how would I allow the children of the masses to be trained by an unqualified teacher? But I believe the last competency test has shown that almost all of you that are here can be trained, unless if you don't work.
We are all aware that there's no any government in the history of Borno State which has actually touched our life like this one. By mere looking at what is even happening here, it has shown that yes, education is definitely happening. So please, let us cooperate with this government. Let us do everything possible we can do and ensure that we bring education back to its life in Borno State.
The Jigawa State government has completed the visibility and environmental impact assessment studies for the Special Agro-Processing Zone Project Phase 2. This milestone was unveiled during a collaborative meeting between the Jigawa State government and a delegation comprising the Federal Ministry of Finance, the African Development Bank, and the National Office of Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone in Dutse. The report.
The successful completion of these studies signifies a significant step towards securing the necessary funding for the project slated for early next year.
I know states were given until end of May to prepare feasibility studies and ASHAs, and would like to commend the Jigawa State government for being ahead of time compared to other states. So we're very thankful. We're yet to review, and soon after this, we're going to have a technical meeting with the consultants chaired by Honorable Commissioner Agric. And then we're going to go for a site visit to Gagarawa to just see the site there. And then we'll continue with our desk work and the preparation of the project.
Jigawa State is ahead of time. The feasibility study is ready and ISHA study is also ready. So now it's left for the bank to go and review this document. And by the grace of God, if these documents are intact, then we are good to go. Then we wait for the bank to approve this loan. Then by next year, Jigawa State will be on board.
So we are producing. We are also creating jobs and wealth to creating opportunities for value addition for the produce that are produced over here in the States. So that is what the SAP is about. And Jigawa has been very exemplary in the areas of production. In fact, this year alone, and this is my third time of coming here this year, where Jigawa states this substantial hectarage in the cultivation of wheat.
Meanwhile, Jigawa's proactive approach is evident in its ongoing efforts at the Gagarawa Industrial Cluster, where essential infrastructure like road networks, uninterrupted power supply, and water facilities have already been established.
We are committed to this project because we believe it will have a lot of benefits for our people. Jigawa State is an agrarian state, and we believe we have a population of almost close to 7.5 million by the last estimate, and about 35% of that population are youth. And we hope that this project will certainly provide an avenue to engage this number of people so that they will have a means of livelihood. The SABC is a very good program. We have studied it, and that's why we decided to key in into it. We are fully ready to key into the project, and the government is committed to the project, and we are ready to give all the necessary support for this project.
Through strategic partnerships with the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone program, aimed at bolstering household incomes, generating employment opportunities, particularly for youth and women in the rural agricultural communities, and fortifying food security, Jigawa State, along with its collaborators, is poised to establish state-of-the-art processing centers. The primary objectives are to curtail agricultural product wastage, ensure high-quality packaging for export, and ultimately alleviate poverty and elevate living standards across the region.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after this break. Time now for Business News Update with Yusuf Akuku.
Thank you. Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akugu. The Central Bank of Nigeria has directed banks to stop charges on cash deposit until September 30 this year. CBN discloses in a circular dated May 6, 2024 and signed by the Director of Banking Supervision at Daytona Adedeji. Some bank customers had raised concerns after lenders began the collection of processing fees for cash deposit on May the 1st. Banks are meant to charge 2% on deposits above 500,000 naira for individuals, while corporate account holders are to be charged 2% on deposits above 3 million naira. The federal government says it will sanction marketers hoarding and diverting premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol. The Nigerian Midstream and Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority said on Tuesday that its men are moving around the country to ensure fuel loaded at depots are not hoarded or diverted by any individual for any reason. In the past 2 weeks, Nigeria experienced fuel scarcity that forced the prices of petroleum to increase from an average of 650 naira to above 1,000 naira per litre in many filling stations. The NMDPRA Southwest Regional Coordinator Ayo Cardoso say any filling station caught hoarding the product will be made to sell to the public at a popular market price. The federal government on Tuesday announced the removal of signature bonus requirement in bidding for oil blocks to attract fresh investment and ramp up oil output. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Oil, Henikin Lokpebiri, disclosed this on the sideline of the ongoing 2024 Offshore Technology Conference in Houston, Texas. The minister assured investors that oil will remain relevant in Nigeria's economy for a long time and that the government is creating an enabling environment that will attract best of investment into the country. Lokpebiri said over the years, payments of signature bonus remain a huge bottleneck for investors as well as investment into the sector. A signature bonus is a single non-refundable lump sum payment made upfront by oil companies to the government for the right to develop an oil block commercially after successfully winning in the license bid round. Equity segment of the market closed in red for the third time this week due to profit taken by investors. Let's see how it went down today. Peace leading the losing equities there. 10% it lost to close at 34 naira and 20 kobo per share. Of course, Nigerian Police Force Microfinance Bank also down 10%, 1 naira and 62 kobo the share price. And then International Brewery down 9.89% to close at 3 naira and 92 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged down the market marginally by 0.01%. Of course, the market, you may say, closed flat this Wednesday. Volume of trade 319.076 million shares valued at 9.178 billion naira in a days of 8,121 did exchanges among investors today. Of course, the top trading equities dominated usually by banking sector, but today there's a change to the, although the banking equity leading that table, the UBA 79.978 million shares is traded. Transcorp Nigeria PLC 38.586 million shares. Of course, Access Corporation 34.065 million shares is traded as well. Of course, some equities also recorded gains. Leading that table is the Kumu Oil up there 9.98% to close at 255 naira and 70 kobo per share. Tantalizer closed at 39 kobo per share. It gained 8.33% at the close of business. Cortex up there 5.96% to close at 3 naira and 2 kobo per share. That's the highlight of the stock trading as it went down this Wednesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and of course the foreign exchange market for today. Oil price fall on Wednesday as industry data show a rise in crude and fuel inventories in the U.S., signaling that demand for oil is coming under pressure. At the London market, European Brent sells for $82 per barrel. For the oil basket, dealers offer $83 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogo. It's back to you.
On the international scene, pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca has formally asked the European Medicines Agency to withdraw its COVID-19 vaccine authorization. In an update on the European Medicines Agency's website Wednesday, the regulator said the approval for AstraZeneca's Vaxzevria had been withdrawn at the request of the marketing authorization holder. The vaccine, initially approved in January 2021, faced safety concerns over the rare blood clots, prompting various countries to halt its use temporarily. Although the EU regulator determined that the overall risk is low, doubts lingered. Limited data on its effectiveness in the older persons led to initial restrictions. Billions of doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine were distributed to poorer countries through the United Nations Coordinated Program, as it was cheaper and easier to produce and distribute. However, studies later suggested that the pricier messenger RNA vaccines made by Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna provided better protection against COVID-19 and its many variants, and most countries switched to those shots. President Patrice Talon on Wednesday demanded that Niger Republic's military rulers collaborate and reopen their side of the border if they want Benin Republic to allow ships load Nigerian crude exports at its semi-border. Benin Republic has eased trade restrictions on its side of the Niger border since sanctions were imposed on Niamey following a coup in July last year that ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. But Talon said military leaders in its northern neighbor were threatening Benin Republic like an enemy and not cooperating to restore ties and formally normalize trade rather than allow informal border crossings. Landlocked Niger Republic runs a pipeline from its oil fields to Benin Republic's semi-port on the Atlantic coast to export its crude. Benin Republic's president did not directly state that Niger Republic's oil shipment loading had been stopped or blocked. In December, Benin Republic lifted its suspension of imported goods transiting to Niger Republic through the port of Cotonou that had been part of sanctions imposed by the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, following the coup. The closure of its northern border with Niger Republic hit Benin Republic's government revenues and also impacted the cost of food and goods. Let's join Emmanuel Fashemi for Sports News Update. Emmanuel, over to you.
In a thrilling development for the Nigerian chess community, Field Master Akintoye Ibrahim is set to lead formidable squad to the Zone 4.2 West Africa Chess Championships in Liberia. The team is made up of 3 male and 2 female players, carefully prepared to fly the nation's flag high amidst fierce competition as they are in confident mood to showcase their strategic prowess on the international stage. The full list includes FIDE Master Akintoye Ibrahim, FIDE Master Denyefa Kalistus, and Onokwite Kennedy in the open category, while the female representation boasts the ski duo of Michael Bridget and Ofowino Torite Shemuwa. Speaking ahead of the competition, Ibrahim stated that he hoped to build on last year's success when he finished second. Eyes across the chess world will be fixed on this revered event as champions from various West African nations converge in Liberia. With the coveted title of champion of the West Africa up for grabs, the stage is set for intense battles of intellect and strategy. According to the organizers of the championship, to keep the game fans up to date of every move, gambit and checkmate, the games will be streamed live by Africa Chess Media. The chess tournament is bid for Monrovia, Liberia from 9th to 18th May 2024. Nigeria basketball champions Rivers Hoopers of Port Harcourt defeated US Monastir 84-63 to record their third straight win in the ongoing Sahara Conference of 2024 Basketball Africa League in Dakar, Senegal. The victory over 2022 champions U.S. Monastir of Tunisia was a huge one for Rivers State-owned team. No team is yet to match Hoopers' 21 points edge over Monastir so far. The Port Harcourt-based side defeated host AS Douanes of Senegal 77-68 in their opener on Saturday, then consolidate with an 86-82 win over APR of Rwanda. As the only team with maximum 3 wins from 3 games, Hoopers are sitting top of the conference standing on 6 points. AS Douanes and APR are second and third, tied on 3 points with a game, while Monastir dropped to the bottom of the log with no win. The result means the Kingsmen remain top of the Sahara Conference standings as they head into Game 4 against AS Douanes on Thursday, 9th May 2024 by 8 p.m. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Basketball Federation NBBF has given thumbs up to Rivers Hoopers over their remarkable performances at this year's Basketball Africa League. The NBBF in a statement praised and described the efforts of Rivers Hoopers as very inspiring and a true reflection of the ongoing efforts of the NBBF to develop the game in the country. The statement reads, "We are indeed happy and proud of the performances of our boys, Rivers Hoopers, in the BAL Championship. They have been worthy ambassadors of the game in Nigeria. The Kingsmen were the deserving winners of the 2023 NBBF Premier League and against all odds have proven to be worthy representatives with their outstanding performances so far in the Elite African Basketball League." And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
With that, we come to the end of the news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. Thanks for watching.